What's up everyone, this is Spooky, and I'm back with a new Zenless Zone Zero guide. This time, it's for Asaba Harumasa, who has a very awesome archer style design. We're getting him free during patch 1.4, but don't underestimate him just because he's free, as he is a strong electric attack agent with a flashy but easy to use playstyle. Before we get started, I want to let you know that this footage is from the content creator beta server. That means that things could be different than what I tell you in the final game. Much like Zhu Yuan, he needs to work well in tandem with his teammates for best results. So watch all the way until the end for my skill, combo, and team tips. Harumasa's story is one of the darkest that we've seen in Zenless Zone Zero, with lots of references to the idea that he's actually a partially corrupted human or a partial ethereal. Despite that, he works together with Hand Special Team Section 6 to stop the ethereals and push back the hollow despite the dangers present to him. Harumasa is a free agent we'll be receiving in version 1.4, and you'll also have the opportunity to put his Mindscape cinemas on a new banner. He outperforms A-rank damage agents with equal equipment, works in both free-to-play and meta comps, and can help you shore up some team weaknesses on your account. Much like the rest of Section 6, he has a very Japanese-inspired design. Makes me think of what you see from the old Japanese archers. But I like that his weapon is a very cool mix of a bow and a set of daggers, both together. It's a very cool, modern weapon and a very fun to use. It really adds to his playstyle. His core skill is going to break down your best usages for getting big damage. His dash attack at core skill F gets buffed with 25% crit rate, and each hit of the dash attack will also increase crit damage. You can gain up to 72% on his special dash attack. To gain access to his dash attack, you'll have to stack some of his special Electro Orbs on any enemy on field, doesn't really matter which one. You can gain stacks of the Electro Orbs, known as Electro Quiver, in-game by attacking in various ways with your agents. Landing basic attack number 5 will give Harumasa 2 Orbs. EX Special Attack will give you 6 Orbs, which is the maximum that you can have at base. Chain Attack will also give you 6 Orbs, as well as having any agent inflict Anomaly on the enemy. If you land basic attack 5 after a chain attack, you can get 6 orbs instead of 2. You must make sure there are no orbs on the field to get this upgraded effect, but I will teach you some easy combos to do this consistently. You can set off the Electro Quiver orbs with a special charge attack, Falling Feather. This can be input by holding special attack after basic 5, EX special, or chain attack. You can also use it manually at any time by holding down the basic attack to target an enemy. You don't have to focus on aiming this at all. He's going to automatically either go for the closest enemy or whoever is your current target. If you ever have more than 6 Electro Quiver orbs on screen, the extra will also attack the opponent until you are left with 6. Finally, we can talk about his Awakened mode, or melee mode as I like to think of it as. Whenever you hit an enemy with 2 or more Electro Orbs, they will be under a special debuff called Xmarked. This will automatically allow Harumasa access to his upgraded dash attack. It will become a special melee attack that quickly approaches the enemy. You can also follow up with additional melee attacks based on how many stacks of Xmarked the enemy has, with each hit costing 2 stacks for a maximum of 4 attacks at base. Each critical hit will also give him stacks of his special Gleaming Edge buff, adding additional crit damage. His special ability also allows him to do 40% extra damage on stunned enemies or ones with Anomaly, stacking on bonuses for maximum damage cash out. This is his most damaging series of attacks, and your end goal as Harumasa is finding a way to land this. His ultimate is not particularly special, but thanks to the change in ZZZ 1.4 where agents build individual meter, you might as well have a good time tossing this in during his rotations for extra damage. Alright, so I want to get into some of the damage numbers for those of you that are into this. Now you might notice off the bat that Harumasa's percentages are pretty low even for an S rank, except from the special dash attack, which they call Hiten no Suru. This is the slash version. But keep in mind that although his percentages are not that high on most of these skills, outside of the EX, which costs 60 energy, so a good amount of energy, and the ultimate, which does a good amount of damage, keep in mind that these percentages are going to be boosted if you use him right in your teams, because you're going to get the core passive, which is going to make the Hitendo Suru Slash gain up to 72% extra crit damage and 25% crit rate, and also on stunned or enemies with Anomaly, he's also going to deal an extra 40%. So you got to make sure to stack that on when you're considering some of the damage numbers that he's doing here. While building Harumasa, focus on his core skill and dash attack, while adding damage in other areas once those are at a high skill level. This will help you grow with him optimally on your count and with your squads. Alright, let's talk about some Harumasa teams and combos. This first comp is the ultra free-to-play squad, featuring 3 agents you get completely free in the game: Ambi, Nicole, and Harumasa. This is a stun and strike comp, with Nicole supporting Harumasa by defense shredding the enemy, inflicting Anomaly, and offering him a quick assist to get in and start his damage loops. Here's an example of the signature combo of this team. I'll break it down piece by piece. After stun, chain attack to Harumasa for 6 electric orbs, then chain to Nicole. Quick assist in and use EX, which will cross mark the opponent and set 6 more orbs. Now dash attack into 2 basic attack follow-ups, hold the last one down to charge a falling feather and cross mark the enemy yet again. Release and use basic attack all the way until you reach basic 5, setting 6 more orbs, then charge another falling feather to cross mark them one final time. Cash out with your basic attacks and use your super before the stun ends. In this advanced loop example, I make sure to tag back to Nicole so that I can get that defense shred and crit rate buff before going into the super. You can easily see the difference in damage, as I'm able to kill the same enemy I was unable to before in one loop. This is why it's very important to practice your combos and your routes with Harumasa and get the most possible damage out of him. If you have Colita and Lucy, you can also team them together with Harumasa, utilizing Colita's stun potential together with Lucy's buffs to improve Harumasa's damage during his rotations. This team is one of the most fun ones I have ever played in ZZZ. You have to always be on your toes, but the stun cash outs are very satisfying. This is another example of a similar stun comp, but what's great about this one is that it has a full electric focus. So obviously you're going to use Chingy for the stun, you're going to use Rina for the quick assist, and Harumasa for the combo, just as the previous 2 teams I showed you. If you want to get meta, Caesar also slots into this team very well. I'm not really sure why you wouldn't use Caesar in a different team instead, but if you wanted to make this work, you can. You're going to get 2 types of buffs for him, because Chingy's going to, of course, buff the stun damage percentage, while Caesar's going to give Harumasa a ton of attack to work with. Now, I've shown you quite a few stun style teams, but I want to show you that although he does his best work in a stun team, because he can get Anomaly bonus, he can also work in full Anomaly squads, such as this one, which is kind of a meta squad: Harumasa, Miyabi, and Rina. Now, this team has an extremely cool and flexible combo routing. So in this example clip, I'm just going to show you an invincible enemy and various different ways that you can extend your different combos by using Miyabi's full charge together with Harumasa's orbs. Just stay on your toes and keep in mind that Harumasa is always going to get 6 orbs every time someone on the team procs an Anomaly. So be prepared for that and combo to it when you're ready. Just like the team I showed you before, Grace can also slot in here for a similar Anomaly playstyle. You're not going to get many disorders with this team, but you are going to get some good super fast hyper Anomaly procs from Grace, which is going to set Harumasa up with even more orbs as well as damage bonus. If you don't have Rina but you do have Grace, this is another mono electric team that you can go for. This one has a bigger focus on Grace thanks to Seth's Anomaly buff that he's going to pass on to her, but Harumasa is also going to do some great work in this team. Anyway, the main point of showing you these different comps is to show you that Harumasa is extremely flexible and he works in so many different teams, free-to-play comps, meta comps, and in-between comps. So pretty much throw him in anything and just use some of the combo tricks and techniques that I've showed you based on whether you're doing some type of stun comp or whether you're doing some type of anomaly comp. For an agent that's completely free, Harumasa is an all-star, and as you can see, he's so fun to play, he works in so many different comps, and he's very stylish while he's doing what he does, really just tacking on those cool arrow strikes, those charge-up slashes, and switching modes constantly between melee and from a distance. Alright everybody, let's get into the equipment and W engines. The first engine that I'm going to talk about is his signature engine, which is new, and this one's called Zanshin Herb Case. Of course, this one is perfect for him. It gives him a little bit of crit rate off the bat, it increases his electric damage overall, and then it gives him another 10% crit rate whenever an enemy has an anomaly or whenever an enemy is stunned. This means that it adds another 20% crit rate to his dash attack when you're using it in your damage rotations, alongside the 25% that you get base with the core skill, meaning that you only need a 55% crit rate to technically max out his crit and start working on your damage stats. The next weapon that's quite good for him is Anton's signature weapon, the Drill Rig Red Axis. This is because it increases dash attacks, especially by 80% for 10 seconds. It can only trigger during certain windows, but one time that you're likely to get this to happen is after your EX special attack and your rotations, making this one a good alternative if you don't have his signature. Now, I talked about this engine a little bit in the Miyabi video. This one is called Marcato Desire. Now, this one, I'm told, is going to be from one of the events in 1.4. I'm sorry, I don't know which one in particular, but it's going to be something that I think you're going to also be able to get for free. Now, if you don't have Anton's weapon or any of those other weapons I talked about, this one is an excellent alternative because it does a lot of the things that he wants to do. It gives him more crit rate, it makes his EX specials a little bit better, and then the attack buff that sticks around for 8 seconds will also help out his dash attack just a little bit. Yet another option that you could utilize is the Cannon Rotor if you've been taking this one on the Season Pass. This is another one that's got base attack and crit rate baked into the kit. So my recommendation is go for the signature first if you can, go for the Drill Rig second if you don't have that, and if not, take one of the other ones I recommended, or just take whatever good attack weapon that you've got that works with him. Just keep in mind that especially you want to focus on giving him crit rate if you can, as well as buffing up his dash attack. Now for discs, he's got a few different options. The first thing I want to talk about is which 4 sets to try. So a good 4 set to start off with is the Woodpecker Electro. That's because he cares so much about crit rate, and also this will buff up his EX specials a little bit too, as well as his dodge counters, his basics, and a few other things. This is pretty solid, and it's a good starting point to jump off with and create a set to go along with a nice 2 set. If you happen to have a lot of crit rate, there's a couple other sets you can try too. You could try the 4-piece Hormone Punk. This one is not bad here. You're going to get 10% flat attack, and also when you're switching in, you're going to get a 25% attack increase, which works pretty well with his rotations if you're using him together with a quick assist. Last but not least, the other 4th set that I want you guys to try out is Thunder Metal. But I can only really recommend this set if you're using him together with Arena or if you're using an electric focused comp, because as long as an enemy is shocked, which is going to happen pretty often in that Arena comp as well as an all electric comp, the equipper's attack is going to be increased by 28%, which is also going to make his rotations real nice and smooth out his damage. Now, as far as 2 pieces, there's a lot of different options. There's this new Astral Voice set, which gives a flat 10% attack when you have the 2-piece. There's the new Branch and Blade Song, and this one gives a flat 16% crit damage, which is really nice if you already have a lot of crit rate. Hormone Punk 2-piece is effectively going to be the same as the Astral Voice 2-piece with a flat 10% attack bonus. Last but not least, you can also try out Thunder Metal as a 2-piece set. This one is another flat 10%, but it's electric damage bonus rather than basic attack percentage bonus. Here's some information on the Mindscape cinemas, in case you'd like to pull for more copies of Harumasa. The first Mindscape cinema makes it so you have a maximum of 14 orbs stacked on the enemy instead of 8. This means you can get a maximum of 7 dash attacks in one sequence. Each Electro Orb will also trigger twice, making it easy to build the stacks of Crossmark on the enemy. This cinema is one of the best and the easiest one to get. Mindscape Cinema 2 reads very fancy, but it basically means after your first chain attack or ultimate, your dash attack damage increases by 50%. It says 7 stacks, but this might as well be permanent as it's difficult to lose all 7 stacks before refreshing. This one adds significantly to his damage, just like Cinema 1. Cinema 4 makes his Electro Prison state last much longer. This makes it easy to set up long Crossmark rotations. He also gains more ultimate meter, and his ultimate will become like a super Electro Quiver, stacking max prison on all enemies for a dash attack festival. If you love Harumasa enough to go for Cinema 6, this thing turns him into a whirlwind of damage, adding an additional explosion that can trigger when stacking Crossmark on the enemy. He'll also ignore 15% of the enemy's electric resistance when they're stunned or under Anomaly. So here are some of my off-the-cuff thoughts about Harumasa, having had the opportunity to play him early. As far as where to use him, technically you can use him anywhere in the game, but especially if you're new or your account does not have a lot of special event agents, he's going to be real nice for you. But he's best with things like story content, Hollow Zero, Notorious Hunt, and general farming. He's going to help you level up your account if you're new and farm what you need for all of your characters. He also has use in shield defense and deadly assault, especially as a Team B or third string teammate. He's the glue that can hold many comps together, but he doesn't provide any buffs to the rest of the squad. He doesn't give a quick assist, or he doesn't do anything in particular to help out the rest of the team. Also, as an attacker, his days is particularly low, and his Anomaly buildup isn't very fast either, so he's pretty dependent, just like Zhuyuan, on his teammates if he wants extra Electro Quiver Orbs and maxing out his damage. Overall, his ceiling is probably not as high as some of the event damage dealers, but he's free and he's solid at his job as a damage dealer, and he probably does more damage than most of the A ranks unless they're like completely C6 maxed out perfect build. It's not that he doesn't have a good ceiling, by the way. If you put him in the right type of team, or if you get his cinemas built up, then he could potentially be very powerful for you. Anyway, guys, I really enjoyed talking to you guys about Harumasa. He was very fun to play and really fun to try out. If you enjoyed my early guide, you know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions about Harumasa, then just ask in the comments, and I'll try to answer for you to the best of my ability. Have a beautiful day, everyone, and thank you for watching.